So I was just going to introduce it, like, hey, good morning, or good afternoon.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday and good morning.
Yes.
That's all I got. Do you want me to say that again and say that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I can't. Somebody else do it, because I'm going to get giggly.
What's up, guys? Hey, happy Tuesday. We thought we'd
Happy
answer
Tuesday.
some questions and have a little bit of a conversation with you guys. So, well, it's not really with you. It's just us talking. But you can talk in the comments if you want to.
Please do.
Yeah, please do. So, I'm Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
I'm Luke.
And I'm Kalee. Good to be with you guys today.
We work in the Crossroads Student Ministry Department.
Woo!
We get to represent
Yep.
all you high schoolers out there killing it today on e-learning,
Hopefully.
hopefully. So just a couple thoughts, a couple things to encourage you. We've had some questions, heard some questions, and love to give you some feedback on what can help you get through and be the most productive you can as you go through this quarantine 2020.
Quarantine 2020.
Hashtag.
Never works.
All right, so first question we've been hearing a lot about is just how do you stay positive in this season, in this time where it seems like there's so much negativity going on? So, I don't know, Dave, how do you stay positive?
So my thing is, it's all about perspective. So for me, like, it's so easy for me to get caught in everyday life of like, I'm not hanging out with anyone, I'm at home, and not really doing my normal routine. But for me, if I take a step back and say, well, what does it look like for other people? They're like, I have to recognize the privilege that I have at the same time, and I'm just like, I still have a job, and there are plenty of people who don't. So for me, when I like stay positive, I'm saying, well, I have this, but my job is to help people who don't have what I have. You know. So for me, it's about perspective. So.
I think a part of that too is just some self-awareness to know that we are influenced by the things that we take in. So when you're on social media or you're on the news channel all the time, or you're always on the Twitter feed that's giving you the most relevant, up-to-date updates of what's going on, I think it's important to remember and realize, like, maybe it's time to check out of this stuff. You know, you got a lot of time on your hands, but doesn't mean you have to spend all that time on a device. So like for me personally, I've added some time limits to some of the apps that I use on my phone, so I don't just spend hours scrolling through and wasting my days away.
I think a lot about how having a negative attitude doesn't change the reality of what's happening around me.
Yeah,
so I can either choose to say this is terrible and I hate everything about it and I can be grouchy with my family, or I can say, you know what, here we are, we're home together, and I can do my part by staying home to make sure that I don't get anybody else sick or get sick myself. So what can I do in the meantime to just have fun and be with my kids and maybe connect with people who I haven't connected with in a while?
That's great, and I think that leads into our second question. Well, for me, like what you said is, find a way to spin it and find a way to make it into something good. So like for me, if I'm at home all the time, I have certain hobbies that I'm like, I've never done this before, or I don't reach out to this person enough and talk to them. I have the time now, you know. So for me, like, let's make it. If you play an instrument, like, let's practice more because you can. Or if you haven't talked to your friend in a long time and you're like, and it's normally one of those things for me, like, I always have in the back of my mind, I should call this person because I haven't talked to them in so long.
That's good.
Now, when I have that in the back of my mind, just do it. Like, what's holding me back now? I don't have anything in the way, so.
Yeah.
So the second question, I just referred to it. How can I handle the reality of being stuck in my home? That's a reality for most of us, so you guys got any advice?
Yeah, so I have two daughters. They're 6 years old and 9 years old, and we have taken this time to really start like learning some ways to cook. I haven't done that a ton with my girls, so each night we try to take time to cook something together. Sometimes it's been dessert, sometimes it's been dinner. So that's one thing we've been doing, is kind of just trying to learn something new. We've had some movie marathons, I won't lie. We've been watching a lot of movies, showing my girls some things I haven't seen before. And then also just trying to connect with people, like we were talking earlier, trying to connect with people who maybe I haven't seen for a while, or just want to kind of reach out to and see how they're doing.
What's the best movie you've watched so far?
Well, we watched Guardians of the Galaxy last night, and I hadn't seen that before. Like, I'm a big Marvel person, but I hadn't seen that one yet because I thought it was dumb, but I really liked it. So number 2 is going to be today.
Number 2 is even better.
See, I think I've seen parts of number 2, but I haven't seen all of it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen number 2. I should probably watch it.
We can host a Netflix watch party and watch it
Is it on
together.
Netflix?
I don't
On
know.
Disney Plus watch party.
Oh, I have that. I can share it with you.
That's what I'm
Don't
talking
break
about.
the law.
That's breaking the law.
But we are freaking it because you have
Oh well.
Question number 3. How do we have conversations that don't revolve around COVID-19? Like, it's a pretty popular topic on every social media platform, on every news feed. Like, we get it. And I think the reality is, like, the more attention you give to something negative, the more you're going to think about something negative, and it's going to fuel your anxiety and your worry and your stress. So I think you got to be intentional about it. I think you got to be intentional to have conversations that are having fun. I don't know if I answered the question before that. I'm a kind of guy, like, if I'm going to be stuck doing something, I'm going to do my best to have fun with it. Like, how do you spin it to have a good time? Like I think it's important to look for those opportunities. Otherwise, you are going to go crazy in the next 4 weeks sitting in your home. So, like, put a good spin on it. Have fun with it. Like, stop talking about the negative stuff all the time, and let's look forward to the stuff that's coming.
Yeah.
I'm not particularly a worrier, but like we all can get stuck in a thought process of like, okay, this is a bad thing. Oh, this is getting worse. This is getting worse. And for me, like, I just first define like my boundaries. Not boundaries, I guess that might be the right word, but the rules when it comes to COVID-19. Like, I'm gonna follow what the government says. First of all, that was pretty simple. And some other things like I'm not gonna gather more than 10 people, whatever. And once I've established, okay, I'm washing my hands all the time. I'm doing everything I can to like make this a better situation than it is right now. Once I've done those things, I don't have to think about it anymore, you know? And for me, like, if I've done those things, then it's not worth my time to just dwell on it over and over again, because we can get stuck in a cycle, so.
That's true. Well, and I'm probably on the other end of the spectrum. I can be a worrier. So for me, like, I've tried to really limit the inputs that Luke talked about this when you go, but like limit the inputs I have as far as knowing the scary side of that, not putting my head in the ground and like saying I'm not, or in the sand and saying I'm just gonna ignore it, but like only checking the stats like once a day so that I just have an update what's going on. And then honestly, like some of what Dave was just saying, like once I know the reality of the day, then I can just move forward, because if I'm doing my part to be home and take care of my family and make sure that we're safe and that the things around us are okay right now, not that I want to like ignore the rest of the world, but just knowing that I'm doing my part to help us be healthy kind of helps me stay positive. And honestly, in our house, like we don't really talk about the virus. We don't really talk about those things because I want my kids to not live in fear as well.
And it's almost like recognizing what you have control over and what you don't.
Right.
I have control over what I can do. I don't have control over other people or even like things that are happening in the world. Mm-hmm. So for me, like if I worry about those things, I can't do anything about it. So why worry about it? You about to say something?
I think that not to put the spiritual overtone in that, but I think a good reference to that is, we could spend a lot of time talking about the laws of the Old Testament and how like we're never going to live up to all the laws, we're never going to follow all the rules, we're always going to mess up. Or we could put our focus and our hope in Jesus and talk about how like Jesus called us to live this life, and the Bible isn't necessarily a list of don'ts,
right,
but of do's.
Yeah.
Like all the things that Jesus does encourage us to do, to be kind, to be loving, to be a great neighbor, to love the people that God's put into our life, and to be that friend, and to do all those things. Like the to-do list is kind of the positive to put on that. So I think that's good.
Yeah.
And I think that when you do those things, and when you realize that like our influence matters, but at the same time there is a spiritual element to this, like that's where the hope for me comes into play, because I realize that the God that I love, the God that I serve, is not trying to just look down from heaven and point a finger and say you're bad, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad. He's trying to say like there's hope in all of this. There's good things that are going to come out of all of this, even if really hard things happen in the middle of it.
That's good.
That's good.
All right, so last question before I blow away in the gale force wind that is blowing me across this room right
It's
now.
kind of cold in here.
It's freezing. Last one. So, if you're not careful, one of the hardest things about coming out of this time where we've been separated is going to be getting back into the reality of like getting up to an alarm clock and being productive in your day. So we just want to give you some practical tips and practical ideas, like what's it look like to make the most out of your day, to not just lounge around in your flannel pajamas all day long and be exhausted and act like you're just going to binge watch Netflix, all the Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever's on the list today.
There's only 2, so.
How many?
Hey, no shame. No shame.
It's true. Maybe a little.
Just a
I
tiny.
don't have any.
So what do you guys do? How do you make the most out of your day?
Set an alarm.
At a respectable time.
Yeah, like
Lunch is not a good alarm.
8, 9, somewhere in that ballpark. If it's 9:30, that's fine, I guess. And take a shower every day.
It's important. Also, I think, when you get up in the morning, go through your normal routine like you're going to school. Like brush your teeth, wash your face, shower if you need to, 2 or 3 times. If you stink, if you're one of those like sweat sleepers, it's rough.
That is rough. But
Like at our house.
I'm a
this morning,
sleep farter. Does that count?
You should definitely shower in the morning, just in case.
And
Never trust your
bathroom.
fart.
Yeah.
We had the argument today at my house when my younger 2 got up of, why do I have to brush my teeth? I'm not going anywhere. Like, well, it's the respectable
Still
thing to do.
important.
Plus, hygiene is important. So I think you got to consider maybe you're not putting makeup on every day and doing your hair,
Right.
but still, you want to take care of yourself.
Yeah, that's true. I think all of those things are important for me and our family too, just to make sure we're doing the things we normally would do. And then also, I try to wake up and think like, okay, what things do I want to try to do today? Even if that's as silly as making a blanket fort in the middle of the living room. Like, if I get up and have some sort of plan for the day, then I know I'm not wasting the whole day looking at hair videos or watching movies with my family. Like, we're gonna do something. So sometimes it's the thing that my kids want to do, sometimes it's what we're gonna make for dinner even, but just having some sort of plan for the day of what kind of thing do I want to do so that I'm not wasting all my time.
I think to piggyback on that too, I think it's good to come up with, what is the things I want to accomplish today.
Yeah.
And if I can really get after it and have those things done by noon, then I can just loaf the rest of the day.
Sure.
But if I get up in the morning and I don't have that idea of like, here's the things I want to accomplish today, I'm going to waste the day away on TikTok or doing whatever. So I think that's important. Like, have an idea. This is what I want to accomplish today.
I also realized I have to move a little bit. Like, it's easy, even if I'm working on my computer, to feel like I'm just sitting there all day. So like, we've done some things with our kids. Mika did like 1,000 jumping jacks the other day just because she wanted to. Like, she was like, I said, okay, you guys are going to do 200 jumping jacks, and Shay did her 200 and was finished. And then Mika's like, I'm doing 1,000. So she did that day. She got up and did 1,000 jumping jacks.
I did the same thing with push-ups this morning.
Ooh.
I did 1,000. Yeah.
Are
No,
you
I
swole?
didn't. No.
I bet that would hurt real bad.
I can't. I could probably do 10.
Ooh,
Max.
Next week's episode, push-up challenge.
Oh my gosh, no,
I'm
please. No one shout me out on Instagram saying, I dare you to do 25 push-ups. I can't do it, okay? That would be awful.
All right. Anything else?
We miss you guys.
We do.
Can't wait to be with you when we can. Safely.
Absolutely. Also, as a bonus round, if you were able to count how many times Dave has disinfected his hands in the current recording of this video, special props to you if you give us the correct total in the comment section below.
Yeah, you get a special prize.
A squirt of hand sanitizer.
A squirt of hand sanitizer from Dave. No, just kidding. You don't get that.
That's awesome. Are you farting?
Yes. Ripping them
It
off.
sounds like you're farting.
Never trust the fart. Guys, we love you. We'll see you next time.
Bye.